Self-inquiry directly leads to self-realization by removing the obstacles which make you think that the self is not already realized. Self-inquiry is certainly not an empty formula. It is more than the repetition of a sacred syllable. If the inquiry, "Who am I?" were a mere mental questioning, it would not be of much value. Self-inquiry consists not in orally repeating, I, but in searching by means of a deeply introverted mind wherefrom the I springs. To think, I am not this, or I am that, may be of help in the inquiry, but cannot be the true inquiry. Self-inquiry can reveal the truth that neither the ego nor the mind really exists, and enable one to realize the pure, undifferentiated being of the self, or the absolute.
Solitude is in the mind. One might be in the thick of the world and maintain serenity of mind. Such a one is in solitude. Another may stay in the forest, but still be unable to control his mind. He cannot be said to be in solitude. Solitude is a function of the mind. If one remains fixed in the self, activities will still go on, and their success will not be affected. One should not have the idea that one is the doer. That force, by whatever name you call it, which brought the body into existence, will see to it that the activities which the body is meant to go through are brought about. The feeling I work is the hindrance. Inquire who works. Make no effort either to work or to renounce work. Your effort is the bondage.
I could say that meeting Sri Ramana has changed my life as the witnessing of an unforgettable sunrise would change one's life as a suffusion of beauty and serenity. I had never encountered a countenance of that expressiveness and carrying an unspoken message like that.
In 1947 was the first I had seen or heard of Ramana Maharshi. And as I said, I had always wanted to go to India, and I was searching for a guru, but I stopped here and there and every place, and finally I ended up at Sri Aurobindo's at Pondicherry, and someone says, I think you might be looking for Ramana Maharshi in Tiruvannamalai. I said, okay, so I took one of these wonderful buses, and while I was riding on the bus, I'd sort of in a state of reverie, and there appeared to me this beautiful face with these big, luminous eyes that look right through you. And so when I got to Ramana Maharshi, there was the same picture, the same face that I had seen in my state of reverie. And I was really, really shocked. So I figured, well, here's where I'm going to unpack my one little bag and spend the rest of my life.
There are no activities for him. What is there? One sits there, you come and put a question. And if the bell rings, we'll go and have lunch. We live as if we'll cut off this immortal world of bondage. As long as we were here, we were in a different world. He fed us like a mother. He protected us like a father. He led us like a preceptor, a leader, taught us. He reshaped us. He gave us a firm vision that death is a myth.
Go to Ramana Maharshi himself directly, not even in Tiruvannamalai or any form of Maharshi. Return to formlessness, which is your own self. This advice I will give you, and this will be available anywhere, any part of the world. Just keep quiet.
Shortly before his 16th birthday, young Venkataraman first heard the name Arunachala, a sacred hill in the northern region of Tamil Nadu. Upon hearing the word Arunachala, Venkataraman spontaneously exclaimed, "What? From Arunachala? Where is that?" The surprised relative explained that Arunachala is the same place as Tiruvannamalai, the small hamlet that has been both a religious center and home to saints and sages over the centuries. It is very rare for one to realize his true nature in a spontaneous and almost effortless manner. But one day, a sudden and intense fear of death gripped the consciousness of Venkataraman, who outwardly was like any other normal, healthy 16-year-old boy. The shock of the fear of death drove his mind inward, and he felt that he must face his own mortality. Venkataraman lay down upon the floor and began to visualize and dramatize death. He held his breath and inquired, "Well then, now death has come, what does it mean? The body is dead. It will be carried to the burning ghat and there burned and reduced to ashes. But with the death of this body, am I dead? Is this body I?" What resulted from this death experience and the inquiry into the nature of the I was the instant and complete realization of the truth that he was not the inert body, nor mind made up of thoughts that come and go. He was the deathless spirit, the infinite I. This was the moment of enlightenment, the awakening to the eternal self. Ramana later described it this way: fear of death had vanished once and for all. Absorption in the self continued unbroken from that time on. Other thoughts might come and go like the various notes of music, but the I continued like the fundamental Shruti note that underlies and blends with all the other notes. Whether the body was engaged in talking, reading, or anything else, I was still centered on I. The young man's life was completely changed. No longer interested in worldly things, he secretly left home for the sacred hill Arunachala, which had reverberated in his consciousness some months earlier. He later referred to his state at this time. When I left home, I was like a speck swept on by a tremendous flood. I knew not my body or the world, whether it was day or night. For young Venkataraman, there was nothing more to attain. He was already a self-realized person living in complete identity with the Absolute, absorbed in supreme consciousness with no thought of the body.